Quick message to all our viewers before we get started on today's video. It has come to our attention that over 90% of our regular viewers are not subscribed to the channel. We request you to please click the subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can be notified when the next video from Mythology is out. The bigger the channel gets, the better the quality of videos that we do for you also gets. So please help us make some amazing videos by supporting the channel and clicking that subscribe button. Thank you. Now over to the video. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mythology with your host Nitin Nair. In our last episode, we were in Southeast Asia and exploring Phayanac, the water serpent. So we decided let's move on from these hybrid creatures and let's look at gods from the Middle East who were very particular with what they were responsible for. Now, some gods in the Middle East we have seen earlier have had their roles and responsibilities shifting over time, and also despite being consistent throughout the different timelines and civilizations that they were associated with, they were also quite particular in the way they interacted with the people themselves. In today's episode, let's look at the Sumerian god Ninurta. Ninurta is a Sumerian god who is associated with hunting, war, law, and farming. In the earliest records, he is regarded as a healer who can cure humans of their sickness. As the situation in Mesopotamia grew more militarized, Ninurta became a warrior deity. Although he had previously been associated with agriculture, he retained many of his earlier traits. It is believed that Ninurta was the inspiration for the mythological figure of Nimrod, who is mentioned in the book of Genesis as a powerful hunter. In the second book of Kings, he is mentioned under the name Nisroch. During the 19th century, Assyrian stone reliefs depicting winged and eagle-headed figures from the Ninurta temple at Kalu were commonly called as Nisroch, but they actually appear in works of fantasy literature. In Sumerian mythology, Ninurta's greatest achievement is defeating Asag, the cruel monster created by An and given birth to by Earth in an attempt to take his throne. He not only kills Asag but also helps to build the foundations of agriculture, which is the life-giving activity of the land. He is often depicted as a warrior with upraised wings and a bow and arrow. In Babylonian art, he is also said to have run on the back of a lion-tailed creature. Ninurta is known for carrying a mace called Sharur, which is capable of providing reasoning and speech. Ninurta was the son of Enlil and Ninurta, but in some stories, it's Enlil and Enlil. His wife was Gula, the goddess of healing, although in earlier inscriptions as Ningirsu, he was married to the goddess Bau, who was also known as Baba. Bau was also regarded as the wife of Zababa, and she was worshipped in Lagash. She and Ninurta were said to have two sons, Sulsagana and Ig-Alima. They had 7 daughters, but Ninurta was never claimed to be their father. As Enlil's son, he had siblings Nergal and Bilulu, Ninana, Ninanzu, and sometimes Inanna. Ninurta is also known as Ningursu, Babilsag, and the biblical Nimrod, depending on the area they were being worshipped in. In the 2nd millennium BCE, he was featured in Babylonian literature and regarded as a war god. His name was changed to Ninurta during the 1st millennium BCE, and despite being regarded as a great warrior god, Ninurta was still associated with agriculture. Ninurta's fame can be attested to in the Bible, where he is regarded as Nimrod, who is described as a mighty hunter. Despite his various achievements, he is still associated with agriculture and harvest. He was also depicted as a flawed individual who was capable of great deeds. The power and position of Ninurta in the pantheon of Mesopotamia would have greatly contributed to any document that was attributed to him. He would have also had to take time away from his heroic activities to advise the people of agriculture. In 2016, the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, or ISIL, destroyed Ashur-nasir-pal's ziggurat at the town of Kalahu. This act was part of ISIL's strategy of razing ancient ruins that it deemed were in conflict with its interpretation of Islam. According to an ASOR statement, the group might have destroyed the temple to use it as a propaganda tool. The organization claimed that this act could have also been carried out to demoralize the locals. What it did accomplish was destroy hundreds of records of ancient history that were being studied to shed more light on the glorious past of the region. In 2020, archaeologists discovered a 5,000-year-old temple dedicated to Ninurta at the Girsu site. The remains of various objects such as bowls, cups, animal bones, and ritual processions were found in the area. One of the most interesting pieces was a bronze figure that was made from the bark of a duck. It is believed that the figurine was made to resemble Nanshe. Ninurta and other gods from Sumeria and the region have always had to go through this fate, where their past and their history is often limited to what we can explore and study today. Despite having a rich heritage, the region has gone through too much of a socio-cultural and political upheaval that there is very little left that we can literally hang our caps on and say, yes, this is the definite past of the region. Although this is unfortunate, there are many researchers who have dedicated their lives to collecting information and bringing out and instilling a sense of pride in the local people in the history of the region. As and when these researchers decide to publish their findings and their discoveries, we will be here at Mythloc to bring them to you to understand the glorious past of the Middle East, which was very different from what it is today. We will be back with a lot more episodes from the region, as well as a few more really popular ones from around the world in the next couple of episodes. So until then, give us a like, a subscribe, drop in a comment, some feedback, or let us know which mythology you would like us to explore a lot more. Don't forget to tell your friends to check out the Mythloc website, podcast, and YouTube channel. This is your host, Nitin Nair, signing out by reminding you once again that Mythloc is the home of mythology.